What is it called? What is it Miles Morales Spider-Man? Is it Miles Morales the Ultimate Spider-Man? Like, what the heck? Basically, we're reviewing this. What is going on, guys? Welcome to this video. My name is Cameron and today we're going to be reviewing Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 6, and this one actually ties in to the Civil War event that's going on between Captain Marvel and Iron Man. So in the previous issue we saw Miles release his new power that we haven't actually seen since before the Secret Wars event, so it was awesome to see that again and hopefully see it again in the future. I think we already know, if you've seen the Civil War issue 3 review, Miles Morales is on Iron Man's side, so we basically already know that if this is a Civil War tie-in, then Iron Man is going to be featured in this comic, which is awesome. Not to mention, since Miles is on Iron Man's side during the Civil War event, I'm hoping that we get some kind of Peter Parker / Miles fight. Considering Peter is on Captain Marvel's side, I'm praying to the gods right now that that happens. Now, without further ado, guys, I think it's time to get into this review, so let's do it. So the issue opens with Miles and Fabio discussing the secret identity reveal, and if I'm honest, it feels like this has been going on for a little bit too long now. I mean, sure, it happened like 2 or 3 issues ago, but it is a major secret identity reveal. Like, it's something that Gank shouldn't have really done, so I love how the comic is kind of pushing this upon us. And we can't forget that in the distance there is Jessica Jones watching Miles. Of course, Jessica Jones, the private detective hired by Miles' paranoid grandma, and I thought it was hilarious how the comic threw that humour in there of the principal of the school actually catching Jessica Jones doing this. And what makes it worse is that she's kind of spying on teenagers, so it's a little bit weird, but in a funny way. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether Jessica Jones has her powers here. I mean, since we're in the all-new, all-different Marvel universe, I don't actually know whether Jessica Jones is the Jessica Jones that we know with her powers and everything like that, or whether she's just actually a private detective. So hopefully we'll discover something about that later on in the series, or I'll have to research it or something, but I'm hoping she has her powers anyway. Now, you can see on screen that Miles' parents are discussing the whole controversy between the grandma hiring a private detective and all this crazy stuff, and I love how Miles' father is actually pushing for this. Obviously, he doesn't like her either, and if you remember in the previous issue, Miles' father is actually back with S.H.I.E.L.D. Jefferson has rejoined S.H.I.E.L.D., so I'm curious as to what's happening with him. It's like, is he reporting Spider-Man stuff to S.H.I.E.L.D. to keep them updated or something like that? It's a little bit weird, but I'm wondering if Jefferson, since he's with S.H.I.E.L.D. now, will do something about Miles' grandma. Will he do something about this private detective? Considering he is with like the biggest secret organization on the planet, I imagine it's going to lead us into some interesting situations. So going back over to what's happening in the comic and Gank not being liked by girls and him liking girls that don't like him back and all of this crazy nonsense, this is what I love about Spider-Man comics. They go into things that you can relate to, they go into things that are normal things that Spider-Man would have to deal with, and it's just interesting to have Miles having this conversation within the comic with his friends. To be honest, I feel like it's just brought me back down to earth. Like, for some time I've just forgot that Miles was a human being as well, like not just Spider-Man. So I really love that. For some reason as well, the art style really stuck out to me in this issue, especially when Miles was swinging around as Spider-Man. I'd never noticed that in any of the other comics in this series before, but for this one, the art style really stuck out to me. And I think I've mentioned this before, but it just felt really comic booky. Like, the art style was very much comic book-like. And if any of you guys know me, you know that I love the comic book art style. You know, the art style that really makes it feel like you are reading a comic, where it's got all like these over-exaggerated head shapes and all that crazy stuff. It's just awesome to see, and I specifically loved it in this issue. It also makes for an awesome video thumbnail when I upload this video as well, so that's also good. So as I've already said at the beginning of this video, Tony Stark is included in this comic. He makes an appearance, he makes a cameo, and he actually calls upon Miles to discuss the Civil War. And what I found really interesting is that he was actually reminiscing the first Civil War event, like, years ago. And it's awesome that he actually takes that Civil War into account when going into this one. And I love how, because he's a super smart futurist, that he basically knows what's to come and he knows where he stands, he knows exactly what's going on. And the problem is that Captain Marvel and Iron Man are both superheroes, they're both good people, but they also both believe that they're right. And I love how Tony Stark went to Miles Morales first. Almost like he specifically wanted Miles on his team. And I cannot wait for it to kick off properly. As I've already said, I think in the previous issue or something like that, I can totally see Peter Parker and Miles Morales fighting each other, or not wanting to fight each other but then having to, or something like that. Specifically because they are both on opposing sides, so it's going to lead to some interesting interactions. Now moving over to the final few pages of the issue, we get something in this issue for the very first time that we haven't had before, and that is Miles opening up to his dad about his Spider-Man stuff and the craziness that ensues in his Spider-Man life, and it's almost like he's going to his dad for advice, and I think that is one of the coolest things to come out of this series so far, because it means Miles doesn't have to like suffer all of these things himself, he can actually talk to someone about it, and since Jefferson is actually working for S.H.I.E.L.D. again, I'm wondering if Jefferson will sometimes jump in points like this, like bring S.H.I.E.L.D. with him or something. It would be really interesting to see what happens, but not as interesting as him telling Miles that one day he's going to have to reveal his identity to his mother. That was crazy. And of course, coming up to the final 2 pages of this issue, I was actually very much disappointed in Miles' mother for going straight to Jessica Jones instead of just confronting her grandma, well, Miles' grandma about it, and I think that just shows a lot about Miles' mother's character. Specifically, she is scared to confront her own mother, Miles' grandma, and the comic ends on some crazy cliffhanger, and I'll give my thoughts about this in a second, but I actually think that Jessica Jones doesn't know Miles' secret. I think she thinks the secret is that he's got a new roommate who also happens to be an Inhuman, so yeah, it's going to get a little bit crazy and I can't wait to see the next issue. Alright, so that issue was awesome and genuinely one of the most interesting issues so far in terms of the Spider-Man series, seeing where Miles is taking this. And does Jessica Jones know that Miles is Spider-Man, or does she just think, oh, he's got a superhero roommate living with him and the mother is like going to try and force that out of her? And what I'm also looking forward to is that Miles' dad did say that Miles is going to have to reveal his identity to his mother eventually, so I'm looking forward to that interaction, seeing will his mother be proud of him? What's going to happen with that? When will it happen? Will it be something that Miles tells her, or will she find out herself? So many possibilities. Now I'm feeling like this issue is one of the best ones so far, so I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 just because the whole concept of Miles revealing his identity to his mum and all that crazy stuff is awesome, and it's going to be interesting to see where the series goes, especially with Civil War. So guys, if you like this video, hit the like button below, let me know that you are loving this format of videos and me being in the videos, etc. And if you want to support the channel, then by all means do so. The link is in the description. You can get free comics, you can get early videos, enter into giveaways that aren't available to other people, etc. Check it out and see if you like it, and yeah, go for it. And of course, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can get the links in the description as well. I do some giveaways on Twitter, so if you want to check those out, one might be up tonight if I remember to do it. Who knows? But until next time, guys, I'll see you later.